It's June 30th, 1908, Siberia, Russia. The most remote part of Russia. A place where almost nobody lives. A place where roads barely exist. A place where forests stretch farther than the eye can see. And then, at 7 in the morning, something catastrophic happens. Hunters preparing for the day freeze in place. Reindeer bolt in terror. The sky itself seems to split open. An explosion tears through the air. A fireball streaks overhead, brighter than the sun, leaving a glowing trail behind it. Witnesses hundreds of kilometers away later say they felt the heat on their faces. They say the ground shook. They say the sky roared. The explosion is so powerful that it flattens 80 million trees. The explosion is so powerful that it's equivalent to 1,000 Hiroshima atomic bombs. The explosion is so powerful that windows shatter in villages hundreds of kilometers away. People are thrown off their feet. Some think the end of the world has arrived. If it had happened over Moscow or London or New York, millions of people would have died. Entire city centers would have vanished in seconds. Infrastructure, governments, history, gone in a single morning. But it happens in Siberia, where almost nobody lives. And because almost nobody is there, the disaster slips away from global attention. So the explosion is talked about in rumors, in frightened stories, in half-believed memories. Then it fades. Years pass. Empires fall. Revolutions come. And the Tunguska event becomes something strange in the background of history. A giant wound in the forest with no official explanation. We still don't know exactly what caused it. The blast occurs near the Tunguska River, deep inside a region that is practically unreachable. There are no cities. There are no real towns. There are scattered settlements, nomadic groups. Hunters, traders. Getting there requires weeks of travel by river, horse, and foot. Nature guards the secret fiercely. If you were designing a place where a cosmic disaster could strike and avoid headlines, you would pick Tunguska. When people finally map the destruction, it is almost unbelievable. Trees lie flat across more than 2,000 square kilometers. That is bigger than many major metropolitan areas. From above, the forest looks like a giant butterfly, wings spread wide. At the center, trees are stripped bare but left standing, like matchsticks after a blast furnace. Farther out, they are knocked down in perfect radial lines, all pointing away from one invisible point in the sky. Something exploded above them. For 13 years, no major scientific expedition arrives. Russia in 1908 is not a stable, easy place to organize such journeys. There are political problems, economic issues, then war, then revolution. Investigating a distant forest is not a priority when the country itself is on fire. But curiosity doesn't die. It waits. In 1921, Leonid Kulik, a mineralogist with a stubborn streak, leads one of the first serious expeditions. Reaching the area is brutal. Swamps, insects, endless mud. Supplies run low. Transportation breaks down. Yet Kulik pushes forward, convinced that somewhere in the forest lies a massive meteorite that will make him famous. Like grass. The land looks bombed. It looks unnatural. It looks recent, even though more than a decade has passed. Kulik searches desperately for a crater. He finds none. No hole, no giant rock, no obvious fragments. Nothing that screams, here it is. This absence becomes the mystery. If a meteorite hit, where is the impact site? Where is the debris field? Why is the center empty,
as if the sky punched the Earth without touching it. Scientists begin building explanations. The first is simple. A big space rock came down. It exploded. End of story. Except science hates missing pieces, and the missing crater is enormous. Real impacts usually leave scars visible for thousands, even millions of years. So, attention shifts. Maybe it was a comet. Comets are dirty snowballs, ice mixed with dust. If one slammed into the atmosphere, it could disintegrate completely, vaporizing before it reached the surface. That would create a titanic explosion without leaving much behind. This idea explains the lack of fragments. It sounds neat, elegant, but comets hitting Earth are rare, uncomfortably rare, and if rare things can happen once, they can happen again. After World War II, imagination goes wilder. Humanity has seen nuclear fire now. The Tunguska blast suddenly resembles something modern, technological. People whisper about alien craft, antimatter engines, visitors who never meant to crash. Theories multiply because the silence at the center of the mystery invites them. No proof supports these ideas. But mystery loves drama, and drama sells. As decades pass, instruments improve, physics improves, modeling improves. Scientists begin to understand atmospheric explosions better. They study how pressure waves move, how heat radiates, how objects fragment under stress. Gradually, a new picture forms. An asteroid, maybe 50 to 60 meters across, enters the atmosphere at tens of thousands of kilometers per hour. Friction builds. Pressure builds. The object cannot survive. Several kilometers above the ground, it detonates in a massive airburst. Energy releases outward and downward like an invisible hammer. No crater because nothing solid reaches the ground. Just shockwave, just heat, just annihilation. This model fits the pattern of fallen trees. It fits survivor testimony. It fits modern understanding of similar events, like the Chelyabinsk meteor in 2013, which injured over 1,000 people, mostly through shattered glass. Chelyabinsk was tiny compared to Tunguska. Tiny. Scientists estimate the energy at 10 to 15 megatons of TNT. Try to imagine that. You can't, really. Numbers like that break intuition. It's easier to imagine a city disappearing, because that is what would have happened. A dense urban area would have been flattened. Fires everywhere. Hospitals gone. Communications gone. Emergency response impossible. Casualties in the millions. The modern world brought to its knees by a rock that, in cosmic terms, is small. And here's the uncomfortable part. Objects that size are not rare on astronomical timescales. They visit every few centuries, maybe more often. Space is not empty. It is a shooting gallery, and Earth is in the way. Tunguska becomes a wake-up call delivered to an empty mailbox. It tells humanity, you are vulnerable. You always have been. Over time, governments listen. Telescopes scan the sky. Databases fill with near-Earth objects. Orbits are calculated, years, decades ahead. Planetary defense becomes real policy, not science fiction. Plans emerge, deflection missions, kinetic impactors, evacuation strategies. We are better prepared than we were in 1908, but better is not perfect. Smaller asteroids can still slip in undetected, especially from the direction of the sun. Warning time might be hours, not years. Enough to panic, not enough to solve. Meanwhile, Siberian forest regrows. Trees return. Animals wander through spaces once flattened by cosmic violence. If you walk there today, you might not immediately see the horror. Nature edits history quickly. Yet beneath the soil, clues remain. Microscopic particles, chemical traces,
tiny witnesses to a morning when the universe reminded Earth who is really in charge. The reindeer are long gone.
The hunters are gone. Even Kulik is gone, dying during World War II. But the question lingers in the air like smoke that never fully clears. Not what happened. We mostly understand that now. The real question is when it happens again. Because it will. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not in our lifetime. But somewhere, someday, another object will appear.
In the sky, brighter than the sun, louder than thunder, faster than fear. And the only difference between inconvenience and extinction will be preparation and luck. Tunguska was luck. Enormous, unbelievable luck. A cosmic bullet fired into the wilderness instead of a capital city. History barely noticed. Humanity moved on. But the forest remembers. The equations remember. And every telescope
Pointed upward is, in its own quiet way, a response to that explosion in 1908. A reminder that the planet is not isolated. A reminder that the sky is not empty. A reminder that survival sometimes depends on where disaster decides to land.